Okay, so today for our first Baking with Kids cooking class, I'm going to go over proper measuring techniques, and I am also going to tell you guys all about quick breads. It's one of the easiest baked goods you can make because you, in general, mix together the wet ingredients, mix together the dry ingredients, and then put them together. So today we're going to be making blueberry muffins, and for any dry ingredients, we are going to be using measuring cups that look like this. We've got some helpers today. So I'm going to start by combining the wet ingredients. And for wet ingredients, we use one of these measuring cups. Okay, so we're going to start with half of a cup of oil. And so you want to get down nice and low so that you can see. And then we're going to do half of a cup of milk, and I'm just going to use the same cup. I'm going to save some dishes here. I'm going to just combine all of my wet ingredients in this one. So we've got another half cup there. So all together, half and a half equals how many cups? One cup, one whole cup. Okay, I'm going to put in my 2 eggs. I'm going to combine it with my wet ingredients. And then sugar is one of those things that we can either put in with the wet or the dry because it dissolves pretty easily in our wet ingredients. Brett, don't make me embarrass you on YouTube. And then we're going to put in the other egg. But sugar can either go with the wet ingredients or the dry ingredients because it doesn't clump up like flour or other things do when it hits wet ingredients. Okay, for that I'm going to get a tinier whisk. Tiny whisk. Jessie, would you like to whisk that together for me while I measure the sugar? So we're going to use 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So I'm going to use the half cup and the 1/4 cup. Anytime we're measuring dry ingredients, you want to make sure that you pour in, scoop in, and then level off. I'm going to add this. There's the half a cup. Do it carefully.
Sugary eggs.
And then we're going to put in another 1/4 cup for our 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So we've got our wet ingredients plus our sugar. And now I'm going to work on dry ingredients. Oh, you can add vanilla extract, but it's been super duper expensive lately, so I haven't been buying it at all, so I don't have any. But almond extract is really yummy. And you don't have to add quite as much of it to get good flavor. So I'm going to add just a little bit of almond extract. A little bit goes a long way, like half a teaspoon or something. Okay, and then our dry ingredients, I'm going to start with the flour. So we're going to put in 2 cups of flour. The flour especially is very important for you to scoop in and then level off. If you don't have a scoop like this, which I'm guessing most people don't, use a spoon. Spoon it in until it overflows and then use a butter knife and just scrape it off the top. Okay, so I'm going to put in 1 cup of flour. I'm going to put in 2 cups of flour. If you do not measure this way, like for instance, if you just push it against the side of the bag, you're going to end up with extra flour in your cup, and then you're going to make some hard muffins and not some light, fluffy, delicious muffins. So it's our flour. We're going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Same thing, this one's okay to just scoop it right into the spoon, but you always want to make sure you level it off so that you're getting a precise measurement there. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then we're going to put in half a teaspoon of salt. And for our salt, and if you guys want, you can start mixing that together. Boyd, please don't touch that. I should have opened this ahead. Okay, so we're going to do half a teaspoon of salt. The salt you always want to measure not over the bowl, because if it accidentally pours too much, you've ruined all of your other good ingredients. Salt is really cheap, so if it goes a little bit extra into the sink or the trash, it's okay. You just don't want the extra in your bowl. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to whisk that one together. So now is the fun part. We're going to whisk the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, and then we're going to fold in the blueberries, scoop it into a muffin cup, and bake it in the oven. So we're going to put in here. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nicely done. I'll take your dirty dishes. Boy will do some interpretive dancing. And then Jesse, you can go ahead and mix that together. Now once you've added the dry with the wet, you want to mix just lightly so that it is mixed together, but you don't want to overmix, because if you overmix, then your baked goods are going to be tough. Okay, so our last ingredient is going to be 2 cups of blueberries. You want to add these at the very end. And now that Jesse's done whisking that in, it's okay if there's still a couple little lumps in there. We want to make it light and fluffy. I'm going to get all that off of there. And then we're going to put the blueberries in. When we put the blueberries in, we're going to fold them in. So we've got 1 cup of blueberries and 2 cups of blueberries. These are frozen. You could use fresh if you have them. The frozen ones tend to make the batter a little bit on the purple side. So whenever you're folding, you hold the spatula, you can see, you go cut straight down and let the batter fall. Cut straight down, let the batter fall, and then we're just gently folding them in so that the blueberries are kind of incorporated, but we don't want a big purple mess. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now I'm going to use my scoop to scoop the muffins. And then after the muffins are scooped, if you guys want to put a little bit of sugar on top, we can do that. And then it makes a nice kind of crispy, sugary coating on top, which is delicious. But if you're trying to be a little bit healthier, maybe don't do that part. Although there's already a lot of sugar and oil and all that fun stuff in here. But it's got fruit, right? It's got fruit and eggs, that's protein. It's got milk, that's calcium. So this is a really nice breakfast here. So, whoops, just got my spatula. What is going on? Okay, my oven's preheated. I'm gonna put these in at about 350 for about 20-ish minutes until it's not soggy in the center anymore. I'm gonna show you if you want to sprinkle it with sugar. Hey, hands off. If you want to sprinkle it with sugar, we're just going to go lightly on there. And then I'm going to pop these in the oven, and we are all done. Okay, and here's the finished muffins.